Hello everyone, welcome to the next episode of SpongeBob Now. Today, I'm going to talk about every episode of SpongeBob SquarePants Season 5. First, I will be talking about Friend or Foe. First, I'm going to talk about Patchy's plot. Enjoy. Patchy and Potty are working at a restaurant called The Poop Deck, hoping to be like SpongeBob, although Potty claims he took the job for the free sodas. After receiving an order of scurvy fries and a Diet Bilge water from his boss Mr. Paratson, Patchy shows off his new Patty creations, all of which are shot down by Potty. Feeling that Potty is never supportive of him, Patchy ends their friendship and runs off. Patchy compares the situation to that of Mr. Krabs and Plankton, starting the SpongeBob plot. Later, Patchy starts to regret ending his friendship with Potty and starts to cry over a picture of the time the two first met. Potty then appears, and Patchy thinks he is there to apologize, but instead he is told to get back to work. Patchy begins to protest this, until he notices that Potty is wearing an assistant manager badge. Patchy questions this, and Potty says that his fancy book smarts got him the promotion. Patchy thinks this is unfair and insists that his cooking is great, but after witnessing a customer throw up a burger she ate into a doggy bag, Patchy realizes his food is terrible and Potty says that he needs a little practice. After a brief montage of training, Patchy makes his first burger. He tries it and almost immediately spits it out, because it's rotten. He then declares to the rotten burger, "For the crime of fouling me taste buds, I order you to walk the plank." In other words, he throws it into the trash. Patchy shrugs and says that SpongeBob's first patty probably didn't go so well either. However, Potty proves him wrong by showing a clip of a baby SpongeBob making his first Krabby Patty, and it's perfect on the first try. Potty then scolds Patchy for his unsanitary environment, such as keeping raw hamburger meat in an old boot. He claims this is what gives it its special flavor, having rats in the kitchen, not washing his hands after using the bathroom, and not wearing a hairnet and apron. Fed up with Potty's criticisms, Patchy starts throwing patties at Potty, but each one misses, and one eventually hits Mr. Paratson in the face. Patchy then tells the viewers to watch the rest of the episode while he watches Potty get fired. After the SpongeBob plot is over, Patchy is shown reading a newspaper with the word "jobs" on the front and claims he decided to take some time off to catch up on his reading. Potty then says that Patchy actually got fired, and Patchy fires back, saying that Potty got fired as well, which is true, but Potty also got a golden parachute. Patchy then says that the restaurant cannot replace him, but Potty says that they already did. When Patchy notices that the gorilla has been hired as his replacement, Patchy calls it a smelly, hairy flea bag, and the episode ends as the gorilla responds to Patchy's insult by throwing patties and other food at him. Next, I'm going to talk about SpongeBob's plot. Enjoy. After yet another attack for the secret formula at the Krusty Krab by Plankton, who hid in a cake that was apparently for Mr. Krabs' birthday, SpongeBob asks Mr. Krabs why he and Plankton hate each other so much. Mr. Krabs tells his side of the story. In a series of flashbacks, Mr. Krabs and Plankton were best friends from birth. They were in fact born on the same day during World War II, November 30, 1942, and did everything together. Both were outcasts, with Plankton being viewed as a nerd for his intelligence, and Mr. Krabs ironically being extremely poor, and victims of cold-hearted ridicule and social prejudice by a particular circle apparently led by Billy. One day, Mr. Krabs is naked and uses a box because Old Man Jenkins swiped his rag clothes for cleaning his car. At the carnival, Mr. Krabs finds a lucky penny, his first exposure to money, which he spends on a balloon for Plankton. Later, they get enough money to buy a burger from Stinky Burgers, which, despite having horrible food and literally being located in a dump, is very popular among the local children including Billy and his gang, due to being the only place in town to get a burger. Stinky, apparently just as shallow and mean as Billy and his group, refuses to serve Mr. Krabs and Plankton, saying that freaks like them are bad for business. He tells them to wait at the back of the building, only for him to yell at them again. There, they witness Stinky retiring for the day, having made millions from the stand. At nightfall, Plankton and Mr. Krabs enter their secret hideout at the dump and they decide to go into the burger business themselves and create their own burger so people will finally respect them and like them together, but no one wants to try it. When Stinky is arrested and his establishment is closed by the order of the health department for numerous ethical and health code violations, the two open Plab's Burgers, on his former site, which the children are now forced to eat at, despite it being even worse than Stinky's. And if it weren't for Stinky shutting down, no one would eat there. Plankton smiles and tells Eugene that the people who ridiculed them are now feasting on his recipe. Even though Mr. Krabs thought it was their recipe, Plankton says that they are now ruling the stomachs of the children, and soon he will be ruling their minds. Mr. Krabs argues that it should be about satisfying the customers, rather than power and ruling the world. Soon, they get into an argument and rip the recipe in half. Mr. Krabs is ejected into a dump pile and tells Plankton that he will one day regret this. Plankton emerges from a pepper shaker and disagrees with Mr. Krabs' story. He tells SpongeBob his own version of what happened. His story is the same as Mr. Krabs', except that their roles during the fight at the end are reversed, with Mr. Krabs wanting to rule all the money of the children. Plankton argues that it should be about satisfying the customers, rather than power and getting more money to become rich. Soon, they get into an argument and rip the recipe in half again, and Plankton is ejected into a dump pile and tells Mr. Krabs that he will one day regret this. The piece of paper that Plankton ended up with says, "and a pinch of chum." He laments that their little squabble only got him part of the recipe. SpongeBob is worried and tells Plankton that his story doesn't sound like Mr. Krabs' story at all. Karen arrives and she says that both Krabs and Plankton are liars. She reveals that she had been starting out as a security system installed by Plankton at the time. It was only their third date, as Plankton mentions, and recorded everything in her database. She proceeds to show what really happened. The real story starts at the restaurant and it initially has no customers or Billy and his gang. Mr. Krabs wonders if opening their business at the dump was the best idea. Old Man Jenkins appears and is the first one to try one of their burgers. Upon taking a bite, he smiles, but faints to the ground, and a newspaper appears saying that he got knocked out by the taste of the Plab patty. Mr. Krabs and Plankton become angry and accuse each other of such things as tainting the patty, putting too much seaweed sauce on it, letting it stay out too long, etc. They begin fighting over the recipe, eventually tearing it in two, with Plankton getting the bottom half. Their friendship is over and Plankton storms out, telling Krabs that if he wants to fight over the recipe, then he will give Krabs a fight he'll never forget. During the struggle after Plankton slams the door, a shelf was knocked down, dumping various ingredients into the patty batter, creating the Krabby Patty recipe, which Krabs is left with. The two go their separate ways, each trying to open their own establishment. People really like Mr. Krabs' Krabby Patty, while Plankton's Chum Burger is horrible. Mr. Krabs then becomes famous, with Plankton vowing that he will steal Mr. Krabs' secret formula someday, and won't stop until he has done so. After hearing the story, Plankton and Mr. Krabs begin to make up and apologize, until Plankton takes the formula from Krabs' pocket. SpongeBob realizes that it's a sabotage. SpongeBob and Mr. Krabs start chasing Karen and Plankton in circles outside the Krusty Krab as the segment ends. Thanks for watching. Subscribe for more videos. Goodbye everyone.